The Cold War split the European continent into two separate factions, the communist and the non-communist. The communist bloc sat on the eastern side of Europe, with the opposing non-communists on the western side. The Cold War quickly spread outside of Europe, polarizing the world. But when did the Cold War begin? The Cold War came out of ideological disputes that developed within the alliance of the Soviet Union, Britain, and the United States. These disputes had been temporarily suppressed by the unifying threat of Nazi Germany. At the Yalta Conference, each of the three leaders, Stalin, Roosevelt, and Churchill, met. It was decided that Germany would be divided into 4 zones of occupation and would pay heavy reparations to the Soviet Union. The French, American, and British zones would later be unified. Berlin was divided as well, but sat entirely within the Soviet-controlled territory. Russia also declared war on Japan. Concerns over dividing Japan between Soviet and American control played a role in Truman's decision to use the atomic bomb. President Truman reacted to the civil wars taking place in Turkey and Greece with the Truman Doctrine. The purpose of this was to slow the spread of communism by offering economic aid to countries devastated by the Second World War. The Truman Doctrine, issued on March 1947, would be followed by the Marshall Plan. In July of 1947, the Marshall Plan offered money to all European nations devastated by the war. Aid was also extended to the Soviet Union. Stalin declined the aid for all of Eastern Europe and seized control of the Eastern European states. In the seized states, one-party governments were established. Berlin was divided between East and West Germany, but sat within Soviet-controlled East Germany. The Soviet Army blockaded routes on June 21, 1948, from West Germany to West Berlin, starving the city of its much-needed supply routes. In response, Western Allies airlifted food into Berlin over East Germany. Over 278,228 flights were made in order to drop supplies. On May 11, 1949, the Soviet Union stepped down, ending the first major crisis of the Cold War. On April 4, 1949, the United States formed an organization to resist the Soviet control of Eastern Europe. The organization that emerged was the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. The founding members of NATO were Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Britain, and the United States. Greece and Turkey joined on February 18, 1952. The Soviet response to NATO occurred on May 1, 1955, and was called the Treaty of Friendship, Cooperation, and Mutual Assistance, better known as the Warsaw Pact. The Warsaw Pact established greater Russian control over Soviet satellite states. Members include the Soviet Union, Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Hungary, Romania, and Albania. In response, West Germany joined NATO on May 9, 1955. On both sides, propaganda was used to change the minds of civilians. In Western nations, propaganda reinforced Western ideas and frightened people about the idea of communist incursions into Western territories.
It is a blueprint for world revolution. Red China's battle plan. Divide and encircle. Conquer and enslave. This film tells how it all came about.
Communist propaganda glorified the worker and the Soviet cause. Each side would create propaganda to show how bad life was within the opposing system.
You can't do this to me! I'll strike!
The state forbids strikes.
Wait till the Union hears about this!
Ah, yes, the Union. Welcome to our ranks, number 1313.
I'll take this case to the Supreme Court.
The state is the Supreme Court. Our decision is as follows. No more private property. No more you.
vote will put a stop to this.
Farmers don't vote anymore.
What'll they do for seed next year?
You won't have to worry about next year. The state will do your planning from now on.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
The arms race also inspired a great amount of fear between nations. In order to calm such fears, films such as Duck and Cover were released.
Dum, 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 diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and cover, ducked and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do.
You and you
And you
and you duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover.
Nuclear tests showed nations' nuclear power. A notable test was the Tsar Bomba test, which occurred in October 30th, 1961. The bomb had a power of 50 megatons and had an energy output equal to 1% of the sun's output, making it the single most powerful man-made device. The Soviets and Americans gave nuclear weapons to countries in a struggle for nuclear control. Weapons were shipped all over the world. The U.S. had placed weapons in Great Britain, Italy, and in Turkey. The Soviets attempted to put weapons in Cuba. In response, the U.S. Navy blockaded Cuba, preventing Soviet arms from entering. Khrushchev would later order the weapons to be withdrawn and dismantled. On August 13, 1961, Khrushchev ordered the construction of the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall prevented Eastern Germans from escaping into Western Germany. The West German side is the one with all the vandalism. China aided communist revolutions in Asia. They backed North Korea during the Korean War and North Vietnam during the Vietnam War. The end of the Cold War came about with the fall of the Berlin Wall. Soon after, communism collapsed in Russia and the Warsaw Pact was dissolved.
Remember what to do, friends. Now tell me right out loud. What are you supposed to do when you see the flash?
Duck and cover.